Hello everybody and welcome back to Fantasy Revolution 11. My name is Dacian, and today we're actually going to show you how to beat up the Supernal Chapuli, Grasshopper Tier 3 NM for the armor in the Sizek battlefields. Now, as you can see, I am in the Fracture, which is the Veil, so this NM is a little bit easier because of the time-wise that we have, but we beat this NM really simply, really quickly. Not even getting close to the time limit. But it's the same strategy as if you used it in the field. But, you know, just be careful of that. Now, in the Void Fracture, actually, the NM is almost always up, especially right in that first room, which is why we already have the NM here. As you can see, I'm on my Red Mage. For this fight, there is a couple different things that you have to keep in mind. This is a pure DPS fight. You can use weapon skills, but I would highly recommend not. A lot of the people here, actually our strategy was pure damage per second without weapon skills, because the monster reacts when you use weapon skills, how do I say this? Very brutally is the nice way to put it. He'll start spamming weapon skills, and you know, it becomes very evil very quickly. But without using your weapon skills, you actually don't have too hard of a fight. You keep some monks in there, you keep some dark knights in there, and basically anything that has some high DPS, and you're gonna have no problem at all. Remember, keep those dots going. Dia 2, helixes if you brought a scholar, and stuff like that. Full enfeebles. Now this NM actually does gain slow resistances to enfeebles. Because I was working with another Red Mage to try and keep this NM enfeebled with Saboteur, and actually towards the end of the fight we started getting completely locked down. Like, he either gets an immunity to it or uses an ability to gain immunity to it, so not sure why, but those towards the end of the battle, those things will not come into play. Now, as you can see, I've already spent probably about 3 minutes silence. So do bring some echo drops or a way to unsilence yourself, especially if you're a mage. If you're a melee, I guess it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, other than that, let's talk about this NM a little bit. Now, it is a Grasshopper, which means his go-to weapon skill is a frontal cone attack. Basically, it jumps at you, and it does pretty high damage. Now, his evasion isn't that bad for a monster, although we are in the Fracture, which means all the NM's evasion is super high. Nothing to really worry about, though. Also, keep in mind that he does like to just spam those AoE stuff, like Silence. I did catch a Paralyze once and a Gravity. Now, the Gravity wasn't too big of a deal. I mean, neither is Silence, I guess, if you're melee, but you know, definitely for your mages, just keep that in mind, especially if you want to erase anything. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward fight. Keep a Bard or a Corsair in all your parties. You know, give your melees the accuracy buff, some haste, and yourself haste, and just go at it. Now, the major thing is, as I already said once, don't use weapon skills, or else this monster is just brutally tough. We actually started off the fight with doing weapon skills, which is why hate was all over the place. Now that we've kind of settled down, we have this nice split of the damage dealers with the mages, and your damage dealers aren't going to have any problem doing enough damage to put this guy down, because although he's a tier 3 NM, he has significantly less HP than like Taxit, which was one of my last videos, or any of the other tier 4 or 5. So you don't really need to rely on those weapon skills to do it. That being said, of course, you know, you have monks, which are great for this. We had a samurai in here that, because of his double attack rate, was keeping up with the monks, which was honestly pretty surprising, all things considered. A couple dark knights in here, which were good. We had a couple warriors in here, which was good. I mean, anything that really has a high attack rate, especially multi-attack for every time that they hit, is going to be great. Those monks actually were... We got 2 of them in here. They did about 23% of damage, or about that. I got that information from one of the guys that was parsing this. But yeah, you know, 22% on an NM that you're just pure beating is just incredible, honestly. And, you know, you do kind of want to stick away from the samurais, although we did have one because we were going to do tax it after this. But, you know, we want to kind of stick away from the samurais, or like a thief that has to, you know, sneak attack, trick attack, weapon skill to be highly effective, or, you know, resolution builds, you know, anything that really requires that spike damage. Now, summoner job abilities are considered under job abilities, not under the weapon skill clause, so you can be sending a bunch of guarders in there to Predator Claw if you have that set up. But, you know, we just basically went pure damage dealing. Now, each party has a white mage. We also have 2 red mages in here, which are backup healing. So, basically, just keep those guys alive. And there's really not too much more to say about this item. He's relatively easy for being one of the newer NMs, of course. Now, what this fight gives you access to is the armor for Cizic Battlefield. Now, notable pieces, they have one of the double attack earrings. It has some Paladin, Dark Knight, heavy armor legs that have +10 weapon skill accuracy. The Minek set? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But, you know, you do have that. You also have the body for the thieves and monks. I'm not sure how big people are going to be into that set because there is battle on the market. But, other than that, you know, this is one of the tiers. Now, as for every armor, you have to beat one of the tier 1s to 3, and then for the weapons, tier 4 or 5. Now, the tier 4 or 5 are kind of harder than tier 1s to 3s, and as you can see, I mean, even when you just watch the Taxit video, I mean, you're not having to worry about, you know, him doing anything too crazy. We keep most of the melees up throughout the whole fight, and it's only towards the end when he kind of goes a little bit crazier. I'm not sure if that's because of the fact that the buffs wore off of him, or he gains an evasion bonus or a haste bonus, but I want to say it's more of the fact that he lost his slow 2, he lost his paralyzed 2. I was able to land a gravity pretty early on, which helped the evasion, and, you know, the Dias are, you know, of course helping the melees because each punch is doing just a little bit more. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, you're gonna be pretty good. My next video, actually, I have it all lined up. I'm actually gonna cast it right after this, is of how to do the delve farm. So, after you beat Taxit and you beat this grasshopper, you can actually go into the delve and get your weapons, at least for this area, which, you know, it's pretty important. You got the Bereaver, you got your hand-to-hand, and you got your Great Katana. And yeah, so other stuff to talk about, let's see. You do see as a emergence of red mages and paladins are back in the mix. We have a paladin on the far side actually holding one of the NMs, which is actually to my back side right now. He is holding actually the butterfly NM, which they spawn in the same room, so you're going to want to have either a sacker pull it or some way to get rid of that. Now, I guess you could just kill both NMs straight out, but most people just choose not to because the butterfly can be quite miserable, especially with his AoE debuffs, which I haven't actually fought him, but I have heard about him, which whenever you hear about stuff, it is never good. But definitely, I recommend the Grasshopper. He's relatively easy. Just bring some monks. I mean, bring a lot of monks, you'll be fine. Easy enough. So, yeah, next, let's see. The next area that I'm going to do is the fort NMs, and hopefully do the body and the weapons this today. I'm hoping, at least. I got a buddy of mine that's going to run a party, and we're going to see if we can get enough people to go do that, because that would be awesome. I also got a little bit of some walkthrough videos I'm kind of editing up. You know, those are a little bit tougher, because I'm not really sure what I want to show. I mean, maybe I'll just show everything, but then you have like 3-hour long videos. But anyways, I want to thank you guys because you guys have been watching the videos and letting me know what's up. keep those comments coming and let me know what you want to see, and I'm going to continue these new NMs along with Reeves, and I'm actually probably going to hopefully put together a video on how to get the NM for the key item to enter the veil. Now, technically, as long as one person in the Alliance has the access to the Fracture Veil, everyone in the Alliance can enter. But, you know, some people want to get that item because they don't want to have to be waiting on other people. So, I'll put together a video on that. I'm actually working on farming the 100k bald that you need. So, just if you want to start working on that, do some colonization Reeves and start earning those bald points, because you need like 100 just to pop the NM. Now, if you're just returning to the game, I definitely would jump on this delve stuff. Definitely jump on these new NMs, because the gear that these NMs drop also give you access to with the plasm points is very good. You know, they're definitely at a higher level than a lot of like the parlay gear or anything that you could technically buy off the shelf, I guess. Not everything is better, but they're definitely high situations, high accuracy bonuses, high attack bonuses, and you know, they rival a lot of the gear out there on the market. And I mean, I was actually looking at it the other day, and these aren't very expensive. I mean, they're about 15 to 20k plasm, which if you equate that to the runs, you can get anywhere between a low run, which is 4.5k, to some of the higher runs. You get into the 7s k plasm for run. So you're looking at like 3, maybe 4 runs, and you can get a new body piece or a new leg piece. So I mean, you're looking at maybe, let's see, 3, 5, 15 runs, and you can have a whole new damage dealing set. And all these plasm weapons can be upgraded with using the air elixirs. Now, rank 15 is the highest that you can get right now, but each one has like plus accuracy, plus attack, plus a stat. So just do a little research, poke around, and see which ones you want to get. But there is definitely a lot out there, and they're going to be changing a lot of these sets up, because it's actually quite impressive. You now can set up more of a, you know, more wide variety character without having to have that multitude of swaps that you used to have to. Which, with every expansion, that's what we see. We have, you know, more swaps getting condensed down and less having to switch in between each set to actually maximize your character, which you always want to maximize as much as possible. Now, we are getting towards the end of the fight here, and you can see that Grasshopper is just area effect right in front, drop and damage dealers. Definitely want to keep in mind that you want to focus down as much as you can, focus on the healing, and remember, keep those weapon skills to a minimum. Not at all. I mean, just don't use your weapon skills, honestly. Every damage dealer at this point, it's like, okay, we can see the end, let's push through it, and just don't hit the weapon skill button. You're gonna mess up everything. And you're actually ultimately probably going to go for a wipe because of how fast this NM responds to stuff like that. So we are, you know, we're getting towards that point that when you get an NM on the Fritz and you're getting towards the end, you know, be very careful. Don't change anything that you're doing. Don't mess around with anything like that, because these NMs, especially because of the information at least out there, not that they change when they get lower, but they definitely get a lot harder. They get some evasion bonuses, they get some haste bonuses. I believe a couple of them that I've been reading in some of the other areas get like different weapon skills that they get access to. Haven't confirmed any of that, but you know, just keep in mind you don't want to change up any strategies other than, you know, when you have to. So, but you know, with this NM almost going down, there's not much left. I mean, there's really not too much to talk about. I mean, this is a pretty straightforward fight. It's almost like fighting a wall. Just don't hit your weapon skills and keep haste and a little bit of DOTs. Yeah. So in a couple seconds it'll drop, hopefully. I'm actually casting this on the back half. I recorded this and then casting, so let's see here. The Paladin is right behind me getting his butt kicked. which is always nice to see in the back of the camera. And there goes the butterflies. So he went down. We actually have another guy that jumps in and sack pulls that guy away. So the butterflies just kind of run into the screen, run out. I would kind of recommend a sack puller over a paladin now. With the delve farms and the delve runs, there's a lot of, okay, there's an NM here, there's an NM there, what do I do? And the best case scenario for a lot of that stuff is just sack pulling it away. That way you don't have to worry about a paladin with an Aegis or no chain. So there's the win, there's your key item that you need, and that will give you access to the body armors and all the armors actually for the battlefields. And all you have to do is talk to Fori Pori, just like the delve weapons. And yeah, all these NMs that I've killed so far actually do automatically drop one of the pieces that they can. I'm not sure if that's like a standard across the board or if we've just gotten lucky, but so far it's every time that we've beaten one of these, it drops either the earring or the body piece or a weapon, you know. So just keep that in mind. I guess if you wanted to really farm an NM just for an item, you could. But yeah. So I'm actually going to finish up this run. We're going to go beat up Taxit, which I already have that video up. Check it out. And yeah, comment below on anything that you guys would like to see. Keep them coming. And you know how this works. Like, subscribe, add, share. And my name's been Dacian, and I am here for Fantasy Revolution Gaming. And I'll see you guys in the game.